Hello everyone. I'm happy to be part of this amazing Ho'oponopono month for the fourth time in 4 years. And I want to give some honor to Robin for starting this incredible month of forgiveness and saying I'm sorry and asking for forgiveness. My name is Tass, Two Crows Flying. I am a settler living in Cape Point, South Africa, on the San Bushman land. I want to acknowledge the ancestors and thank them for allowing me to live here to do my work with the presence of love in my heart. And I also want to acknowledge my own ancestors that have walked this land since the 1800s and that have been part of the growth of this land. And I acknowledge my ancestors that came from Europe ever so recently in the 1950s. So I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness and about the role that people from the West, such as me, labeled white, mislabeled Caucasian, but that's the word people often use. And ever since I was a teenager, I used to feel the absolute rage of what the conquerors, in inverted commas, came to do. When I first read about the Spanish Inquisition, against the witches, and then I continued reading as a teenager about how they murdered and killed them, the Mayans, and that is repeated all around the world. Specifically, my Native American friends, the indigenous people from Canada, and the atrocities that are being dug up literally now from the residential schools. I think of the atrocities that have happened in Africa in the last 50 years of Idi Amin, the Congo, look to Vietnam, and so on and so forth. And there's this constant underlying horrendous greed of colonization that has stretched back right into deep time. And it has disturbed me. It has disturbed me, and it is still disturbing me. So for me to do a Ho'oponopono around this today is a great honor. It's time. It's time that we all said, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. But before I speak further, let's take a few moments of stillness and take a deep breath. Greetings and thanks to each other, the people, to the earth, Mother of all, greetings and thanks. To those of the water and the swimming, to the cloud nation, the thunderers, greetings and thanks. To the creatures of the air and the wind, the element, thank you for breathing through me from the moment I'm born till the day I die. Greetings and thanks. And to the fire within and the fire without, and to great grandfather sky and grandfather sun that burns bright, the star that keeps us alive and helps us grow our food. Greetings and thanks. To all the plants, the great trees, the standing nation, our food plants, our medicine plants, and those who take care of our medicine plants. Greetings and thanks from the depths of my heart. To the slithering ones, the fishy ones, the flying ones, the running ones, and all our relations. Greetings and thanks. And to you all as people, our world tribe, and most of us are coming in peace. Thank you for being present. Greetings and thanks to you. So, with all these big questions that have been flying around me about the atrocities that have been committed since deep time, I kind of asked myself, where do I fit in? And it's a big question, and it's something maybe worth pondering as we do this Ho'oponopono month. But this can only be found by finding our core place in the world. And I don't think that any of us that are gathered here today really fit into this fast-paced of craziness of the world. And fitting in, finding oneself really means about slowing down. And I'm very grateful to 2020 for the great pause. I know a great many of our family members passed because of this. My own father included. But it did slow us down, didn't it? And so many of us have been given the opportunity to really give thought. We were all First Nations once. Many of us stem from Europe. For instance, where the great Roman Empire swept through, as well as the machoism, the patriarchs trampled the way of the old wise woman that actually lives in us all, including our men. We've lost that. And if we go even deeper and even further, to the plains of Africa, and all the other places where humanity began emerging in deep time. Conflicts existed then. You and I are the result of hundreds and thousands of years of resilience. We can thank our ancestors for this. But in the same breath, if I imagine where my ancestors came from, and you imagine where your ancestors came from, you will know that in South America, Turtle Island, Europe, Africa, there's always been this dreadful conqueror attitude that has swept across our world. I'm not quite sure why we're so bloodthirsty. And no nation has been left unturned. If I look at the atrocities of, I believe, the Aztecs, nobody's innocent. No nation is innocent from having a conquering attitude. And most recently in history across the world, pinning it down to about 500 years ago, the atrocities in Turtle Island against the beautiful indigenous people there, the atrocities here in Africa, the slavery. The list is long. We can see the fires across the globe. My own ancestors, overrun by the Norsemen, in Scotland, my own ancestors suffering under the Roman Empire in Wales, my own ancestors, again the Roman Empire, decimated in Germany. No one is untouched. And if I want to release this anger, I'm going to have to say forgiveness. I have to really, really feel it. We've gathered here today because we were all in a raw place where we're wanting to return to the old ways of connecting to our planet and one another. And without forgiveness, we can't do this. We're hungry and we're deeply thirsty for finding our way in what feels like an end time. Ends are part of a new beginning. So we can use this thinking to change our present course. And to return to that forest of our inner being with clear hearts, because we've stepped forward into saying the Ho'oponopono. And in this moment, I'd like to thank the Hawaiian nation for giving this incredibly powerful prayer to the world. Thank you. So this is my prayer. We're going to go around the world by using the four winds as a place. Let's look to the east. And from my perspective here in Africa, the east is Japan, Asia, China, Malaysia. Let's close our eyes and imagine those nations. Let's think of those who were colonized and those who were the colonizers. Let's bring them into a full heart space now. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I am so sorry. I love you. Thank you. May these words wash over you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And let's now look to the south. I think of the south as Africa and South America, Australia, New Zealand, the South Pole. Let's bring in our minds and hearts now the colonized and the colonizers, back from deep time to this present moment. Let's picture the events that we might have known of and that we know of on these continents. The Australian Aborigines, all the South America, beautiful indigenous people that were decimated by the conquistadors and the Portuguese, the invasions that happened, and including the indigenous people who invaded one another and caused great grief in deep time. Civilizations have risen and fallen. And atrocities have been committed in the name of taking over and wiping out the old ways. Oh, I am sorry. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for hearing this prayer that's coming from the depth of my being. And now we look to the west. And when I say west, I'm including all my ancestors in Europe, and yours possibly too. And I'm looking at the Westerners who swept across to Turtle Island. And committed the atrocities there. And I think of the West, I think of the great falls of civilization by the Norse, the Roman Empire. And the tiny tribes in England that squabbled and fought. In Ireland, Germany, Spain, and so on. The move to conquer, to colonize, to stamp out the old ways. It is wrong. May we never repeat this again. So, knowing this is wrong, may our hearts be wiser now. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I love you. I truly do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my ancestors, that you had to go through this. I am sorry to your ancestors that had to go through this. I am sorry. I am so sorry. And we look to the north. And we think of the people in the north in Mongolia, Genghis Khan, the Norsemen. I don't know enough about the nations in the northern part of what is known as Canada. But while we're here, let's hold these places on our globe in our heart minds and imagine love. And let the words, I am sorry, please forgive me. Please forgive me for taking over, for wiping out, for colonizing, for the uninvited. Please, please forgive me. Please, please forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. And thank you to all who've heard this. Thank you. East, south, west, north, thank you. Thank you for hearing me. And what is also coming into my mind now as I'm sitting here is apologizing to our planet. Because the same ruthlessness that we've held against each other, we have held and are busy right now. I think of Fairy Creek and the great standing nation, ancient elders there that are being cut down now because of logging companies and of the government in Canada just simply not caring. And this is across the globe. That same attitude is doing the same thing to our planet. There's this beautiful blue marble, this spaceship flying through the galaxy, pristine, gorgeous, wonderful, our mother. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. May this cease. May we rise up and begin fighting for what is right for our planet, our mother, in peaceful protest across the globe, because you can't use the same energy that started this in order to vanquish it. We have to use a different way. And these prayers are part of it. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. May the fire of forgiveness burn bright in you. And may these prayers reverberate around our globe and usher in a new way of being. And so it is, and it is so. Thank you so much for listening.